Hi everyone, it's Mario Vegas and welcome back to Tank Zone. Today let's take a look on VN17, which is Tier 8 Premium Chinese AFV. First thing that I would like to mention about this wonderful AFV is it is a highly versatile machine. First of all, let's take a look. It has 5 special abilities. 3 infantry abilities. Well, it's classically for infantry, but it has override ability, which is quite useful for scouts and medium range fire supporters because it does not reduce your camo factor, and designated target ability, which is great for scouts. Regarding firepower, let's take a look on ammunition. For anti-tank guided missiles, penetration is 1100, which is excellent, and average damage 800, which is actually good. Good penetration and very alright damage. For autocannon, about autocannon, what we can say? Well, 30mm armored piercing discharging sabot, definitely penetration and damage rates are average for tier and average for AFVs. Regarding HE autocannon ammunition, penetration is quite low, 20mm only, and damage, of course, it's higher, it's good, but the penetration quite lags behind. Last bit regarding ammunition, you can deal around 1500 damage using armor piercing discharging sabers, 30mm ones, before your autocannon overheats. Regarding HE autocannon ammunition, you can deal around 500 to 600 damage before autocannon overheats. Basically, you can shoot around 33 bullets, 33 rounds before your autocannon overheats. Regarding defense, it has 2100 hit points, which is average for AFVs for this tier. Hull and turret armor is good if we compare it to its counterparts. However, we should not be misled by that. Its armor is still pregnable. Maybe, just maybe, one AFV like Stalker may have some difficulty to penetrate VN17 turret armor. Rather than that, pretty much any ammunition type can penetrate this armor. But don't get me wrong, VN17 armor is alright. Actually, this machine has so-called third generation ERA. These things, they appear orange in armor layout screen. And this third generation ERA offers good protection against the heat and HE ammunition, partial protection against kinetic rounds and tandem heat warheads, especially if this armor is angled. Something similar like you do with a main battle tank. You try to angle this armor. And this ERA offers basic protection against autocannon ammunition as well. So, apart of yapping, let's take a look on armor calculator. Let's take a look what Derivatia, this devastating tier 8 AFV, can do to VN17. First comparison, armored piercing fin stabilized discharging sabers, 57mm with penetration up to 500mm. And as you can see, VN17 has some partial protection, but only if your armor is angled. Yes, if it's not, then your third generation ERA will not do much effect. It will be zero protection. Let's take a look what Pella rounds can do. Oh, we have a little bit more better protection against the Pella rounds, even if our ERA isn't angled. But still, there are some spots on your vehicle where this type of ammunition can get through and penetrate your vehicle. And finally, HE autocannon ammunition, 57mm dispatched from Derivatsia's devastating cannon cannot do much. There are some patches, yeah, there are some spots, but they are insignificant. So VN17 is well protected against autocannon HE ammunition. Let's take a look at what anti-tank guided missiles can do to our vehicle. As opponent, I'm taking a Bradley fighting vehicle with its devastating anti-tank guided missiles with penetration 1000 millimeters and damage 900. And as you can see, again, if your vehicle is angled, especially if we talk about side protection, then this third generation ERA offers a good protection even against anti-tank guided missiles. And finally, let's check out how this vehicle is protected against tanks, classic main battle tank ammunition. Right now, as opponent, I'm taking Leopard 2A5, which fires its 120mm gun using heat ammunition with penetration 880mm, and our third generation ERA offers even not angled protection. I mean, it's protecting your vehicle even if your vehicle is not angled against your opponent. However, there are again some spots on a vehicle where even heat ammunition can penetrate this vehicle and deal tremendous damage. Next ammunition type, let's check HE. And again, except rear part of a vehicle, all other parts, more or less, yes, there are some weak spots, but this vehicle is very well protected against heat ammunition. Well, we can draw summary on that and say that this vehicle is very well protected against all HE ammunition, autocannon or fired from a main battle tank. And finally, let's check what armor-piercing fin-stabilized discharging sabers with penetration 800mm can do to our vehicle. If it's not angled, then it is quite vulnerable. And but if it is, it has partial protection. Still, it has partial protection. This ERA can penetrate, yes, even against kinetic rounds. If we talk about mobility, it is absolutely stunning and great. Talking about all parameters, maximum speed, acceleration, and hull traverse, it sits in a second place per tier. So mobility is great. There is nothing much to add. Let's carry on with utility and camo. It is one of the best camo factors per tier for AFVs. And by the way, it is the same as for VBR Scout Track. And can you imagine comparing the Scout Track to this tracked AFV? Well, definitely VBR is has smaller silhouette, right? But it's amazing. This vehicle with better protection than VBR and better versatility, it can carry, for example, infantry. It has same camo factor than VBR. It is great. It is absolutely great. Regarding vision, 465 meters on the move, and only C19 Mark IV can do better than this one. So it again sits in second place. And this vehicle has a recon package which gives 30 meters vision range addition to your stock vision, and that's why when you stop this vehicle, its vision goes up to 495, and with using optics you can get this vision close to maximum range. So it's great. These two sections are great, the mobility and utility. -6 degrees depression can be an issue, especially if you use autocannon on slopes, hills, on dunes, during the ridge fights, on uneven ground, in medium to close ranges. Rather than that, if you use anti-tank guided missiles, it should not be an issue at all. On top of that, your missile launchers are fixed to your turret in angle. That's mean you can hide, basically hide all your silhouette, all your hull behind the protective cover and the fire over it. So basically not exposing yourself practically at all. It is very good characteristic about this AFV. And last thing, yes, I mentioned about these missiles, they can be partially reloaded. Regarding accuracy, it is one of the best per tier. 0.075 aim time, 1.51 seconds is average, but it's alright, absolutely fine. And Tartarus, again, one of the best per tier. Now let's summarize all pros and cons before we jump to the tactics and set up this vehicle for 3 different gameplay styles. So let's start with the cons. And in my opinion, this vehicle doesn't have a real con, not any. For example, if we compare this vehicle's DPM, it's 12,838 DPM with no retrofits and no influence from Commander. Alright, if we compare to other tier 8 AFVs, then it's below average. Alright, but 12,000, more than 12,000 DPM is more than enough to give a good punch. Alright, next one. Gun depression. Yeah, gun depression -6 degrees. It can be an issue if you use auto cannon, but how often you use auto cannon on, you know, so steep and angled, you know, hill rollovers and, you know, structures like that? Not very much, I guess. It can be thrown away as well. And moderate firepower ratings for autocannon and low penetration for HE ammunition, autocannon ammunition. I wouldn't call them cons, because you will gonna use all your anti-tank guided missiles mostly if you wanna do a damage on your target, right? Now let's check out pros. There are much more. 5 special abilities, anti-tank guided missile penetration, which is absolutely great, 1100, effective 3rd generation ERA, not bad defense overall, because the vehicle has 2100 hit points, right? Excellent mobility, excellent camo factor, and vision range. Accuracy is absolutely brilliant, and Tartarus just shines. So, how to play this vehicle? As it has average firepower. Alright, let's assume it has average firepower in comparison to its counterparts, but it has a great mobility, ERA, vision, and camo factor that suggests us that this vehicle can be very effectively played as a scout. Yes, as a scout or medium range fire support or medium range flanker, because mobility allows to do that. So let's now set up this vehicle for 3 different gameplay styles. One setup will be for scouts, another one will be for medium range fire support and flankers, and the third one will be for those who want to betray all of that and just sit in tank destroy spots, which is actually not very typical for AFV's gameplay, but anyway, I will give a setup for that purpose as well. Let's start with the scout setup and crew skills. If you want to scout, I would suggest to pick off-road driving and smooth ride. Off-road driving to get you very quickly to the scouting spot and not lose any bit of your mobility, which is very important if you've been discovered yourself and if you want to relocate from one position to another. For gunner, I would suggest Sting Like a Bee and explosive shells or rapid fire, because if you scout, you wanna to minimize your auto cannon use as much as possible, and that's why probably rapid fire will be more suitable for you than other skill, because you will gonna opt using to use anti-tank guided missiles, which have less impact on your camo factor. Regarding retrofits, I would suggest optics, paint, and active IR optics or telescope if you wish to get absolutely maximum vision range in a game. But I personally use active IR optic on this vehicle. And special ability, I would suggest either sniper as an infantry option, or designated target, or even probably anti-tank squad if you wanna set up ambush and do a dual duties. However, I play this vehicle as a scout and use scout infantry on this vehicle, and do it like that. I dispatch scout and do preliminary scouting with my vehicle, and then if situation requires and allows, I am entering I would say a medium range fire support mode. Playing this way, I found that I can perform in this vehicle most efficiently, for myself at least. And for a commander, last bit about this scout setup is I would suggest either Sabrina, which I use on my vehicle, or Erin. I don't have Erin, so that's why I use Sabrina. Let's set up this vehicle for medium range fire support or flanking. Why medium range? First of all, why medium range? Because as we saw in Armor Calculator, then this vehicle still is vulnerable. It still has weak spots. And if you go in a close range fire support, you quite often will be destroyed. So I tried myself and it's not working the same like with other AFVs. Regarding crew skills, okay. Off-road driving and smooth ride for driver, for gunner accuracy and sting like a bee or rapid fire. Rapid fire, again, to maximize your fire power. And this time, of course, you can opt for autocannon ammunition using this vehicle as medium range fire supporter. Because if you don't scout, you are not so worried to be discovered yourself, right? Regarding retrofits, breach, anti-tank guided missile control unit, and optics. Breach, again, to increase your firepower, anti-tank guided missile control unit to lead your missiles to your target precisely, and optics not to lose in competition with other AFVs, which will perform as well medium range fire support. If you will not choose optics, you may lose a bit of edge in vision. Regarding special ability, I would suggest override, which will boost your acceleration, handling, and maximum speed. Duration 8 seconds. It will be useful for quick and rapid relocations, quick flankings, and things like that. Or you can opt for anti-tank squad as well and set up ambushes, or deploying mortar. Sorry. Regarding command, I would suggest Sabrina or Rashid. However, if I would go for this setup, I would pick Rashid to maximize all firepower as much as possible. However, to be honest, Sabrina can do a good job as well, because she has a good module damage rates and other skills as well, which can be useful in medium range fire support and flanking. And finally, for those who like sitting in tank destroyer spots and provide fire support from rear. For crew, for driver, I would suggest same off-road driving and smooth ride to get you quickly and smoothly to your position. For gunner, I would suggest a sting like a bee and rapid fire to boost your firepower as much as possible, because you must be as efficient as possible if you sit in a tank destroyer spot back there. Regarding retrofits, telescope, paint, and breach. Telescope to maximize your vision range, to get absolutely 100% vision range. Paint, of course, to get you concealed as much as possible, and breach to increase firepower as much as possible and be as useful as possible doing, I don't know what kind of duty in tank destroyer spots, I guess tank destroyer duty. And special ability designated target. Yes, definitely designated target, not any else. Because if you sit back there in a tank destroyer spot, then you can at least designate targets, and that's how you can help your team to inflict higher damages on these designated targets and help them this way. And for commander, I would suggest Sabrina or Rashida. However, personally, I probably would pick Rashid, because distance will be large and your anti-tank guided missile controllability will be quite important, and I guess you must use basically and probably only your anti-tank guided missiles, because your autocannon will be useless in large distances. It has no needed caliber for to inflict damages in large distances. Say at 400 meters, penetration will be only 111 millimeters for 30 millimeter armored piercing discharging sabers, what this machine has on its autocannon. So this is it for today. This is how I see this vehicle. What about you? How you set up this vehicle, which commanders you pick and skills for your crew, and what retrofits you would suggest? And by the way, probably you play it absolutely differently on in hybrid way, whatever. Write down that in the comments and share your opinion about this vehicle, and I wish you a good luck in the game, health, peace, and I will see you in the next episode.